The White Sox got beat. The White Sox got beat bad. It happens, folks. 162 games, you're going to get beat. Well, folks are getting sick of it. Are you built for 162, or is there a different problem looming? We're going to talk about it here on the CHGO White Sox postgame show. CHGO White Sox post-game show coming to you live from Studio West in our West Loop offices here in the downtown of Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Anderson, being produced today by Chloe. You got a mic?
Hey, I have a microphone.
You got a mic? Woo! Look at that. Hey, must be the money. All right, there we go. Or Mune, I guess we could say that now. But yeah, you finally have a microphone. Any White Sox thoughts that you've just been holding on to?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, appreciate it. Thank you, Chloe. Chloe's producing the show. As you can see, we are getting our pitchforks out. So if you haven't dusted out the pitchfork or maybe the torch in a while, we're going to get an angry mob together. Maybe about 11:45. We're going to go knock on Colson Montgomery's door and say, hey, why are you hitting fastballs, man? We're going to discuss Colson Montgomery's struggles, but we're going to talk about the game and what led to the 11-2 ass kicking by the Texas Rangers. Can I say that? No? It's like oh, okay, a butt romping. How about that? The old classic butt romp. Anyways, game 131 versus Texas. Sox entering today 68-62. They took the 2-game series against the Mets this weekend, walking off the Mets both on Friday and Saturday. Shout out to Jake Rogers on Friday, on Sean Day. Told you, folks. And on Sunday, it was Tristan Peters. But you're feeling pretty good about this game. And you saw Texas already. Sox took 2 of 3 of Texas against Texas in Arlington earlier this year. And like today, there was a 10-0 ass. Butt whooping. Butt romping. Okay. There was classic 10-0 butt romping by the Rangers. That was in the middle of the 3-game series. This one comes at the beginning. So I understand that people are going to start to panic a little bit, but bad games happen. And I think this is more of a sign of them playing consecutive back-to-back games. This is a fairly young team as well. They're typically not used to playing 162 and terrible pitching. I mean, we just know that the pitching is bad. And this was today a sign of just some bad pitching from Jose Urquidy. It's Jose Urquidy versus Kumar Rocker. We will talk a little bit later on in the show that Caleb Bonnemer is going to be taking some reps in center field in Birmingham, which is an interesting development. I believe Paul Yanish talked about that today. So we'll bring you some quotes. Josh Barfield talked about that today, so we'll bring you some quotes from that. But top one, Jock and Wyatt Langford both wonk. Nimmo's hit by a pitch, so the bases are loaded, and then Duran grounds into a fielder's choice, but a run scores. Close, no cigar at turning the double play. Colson, a little bit of a slow roller. He gets it out of his glove quick enough. Maedroth throws it over quick enough, but Duran's just a fast enough runner to beat that out. So it's 1-0 Texas. And then Carter laces an RBI double into the gap. Runners only at second and third. I thought Duran would be able to score from first, but it's only 2-0 Texas after one. I say only 2-0 because it felt like the White Sox had the opportunity to tie it up. Bottom one, Vargas 2-out single, and then Brandon Nimmo should have been arrested on the spot. It was grand larceny against Andrew Benintendi. Not as evil as the Travis Jankowski walk-off robbery of Andrew Vaughn a couple years ago, but this was a very nice play by Brandon Nimmo in taking back what would have been a game-tying home run in the bottom of the first. Top two, though, Corey Seager with a 2-out single. He was impossible to get out today. He saw everything that Jose Urquidy was throwing out of his hand, and he just was a menace today. That's why he gets paid $325 million. Hey, if Colson Montgomery hit like that guy, we'd be pretty happy. But yeah, Langford then with an infield single. Not the worst play by Colson. Picked it up, was spinning a bit, tried to get it out of his hand to get Seager at second base in the force out, but just didn't get quick out of his hand quick enough. But it was a nice play to at least get to the ball. And then Nimmo walks, so the bases are loaded. Duran with an infield single. Chase went behind the second base bag, and then when he went to go turn, completely slipped and bit it on the field. And then he got up and his elbow was bleeding, and he was bleeding all over his jersey. So very pleasant sight. The White Sox bleeding out on the field and bleeding runs in the inning. They end the third 3-0. Someone on Texas did get ejected. Jock Peterson, who struck out earlier in the game as well. Wasn't really that important because the Sox lost 11-2. Did I mention that? The Rangers got 14 hits. That's a lot. Bottom two, though, Braden, lead-off single, and then Peters with a 2-out, 2-run home run.
Stroking.
And that's 3 games with a home run for Tristan Peters.
Stroking.
3-2 Texas, and those would be the only runs the White Sox score today. Top 3, Diaz hit by a pitch with 1 out, Freeman with a single and a full count, and then Seager with a 2-run double. 3 for 4 tonight. Corey Seager was with a walk with 3 runs batted in. So yay, Sox get to face Corey Seager. Bottom 3, Murakami with a leadoff single. Vargas walked. Braden with a 1-out walk. Bases are loaded, and here comes the pitchforks. I hear the mob coming. Colson, do you hear him, buddy? Cade with the bases loaded. And, hey, we'll give Chase credit. He struck out as well with the bases loaded, but he did it at least in a full count. Colson went down strike 1, strike 2 in an 0-2 count, then fouled a slider off, but then was struck out on the next pitch, and it was out of the zone. So he goes chasing, and you don't go chasing waterfalls because they're typically sliders out of the zone. That is a bases loaded threat right there in the bottom of the third that the Sox don't see runs pushed across. I did see somebody be like, the Sox are terrible in situational hitting. And you know what? They're a young team, and I think largely you cannot complain about their offensive production this year. Last time I checked, it's been a while. It was a birthday weekend for me, so apologies. But they have 620 runs scored, and that last time I checked was the most in the American League, and it is still. They're the only second team in American League to have over 600 runs. Twins are the only team at 600. That might change after today, but Sox lead the American League in runs. So scoring runs really hasn't been the problem this year. It's a frustrating moment where Colson strikes out, and he specifically has been bad in high leverage. But overall, the Sox are 5th in weighted runs created plus and have the most runs batted in high leverage. Pretty good. And they aren't great with runners in scoring position. They're 20th in Major League Baseball, 99 weighted runs created plus with runners in scoring position. So in that stat right there, not really great. But again, largely with runners on, they're 4th in weighted runs created plus. So, I know some people are frustrated, and typically it's our guy Joe, I think, who's like, they can't win without Homer, so maybe that's it. The classic Peters 2-run homer wasn't enough tonight. But yeah, the Sox, it wasn't a great outing, and when you just get this outing from Urquidy especially, you just feel down and out early. And then top 5, Berger with a leadoff homer. It's 6-2 Texas. Foscue with a 2-out double, and then Seager again an RBI double. 7-2 Texas. I stopped taking notes because the game got sad. 7-2 is where I left you. 11-2 is the final. Luis Acuna pitched today. Isn't that cute? Sox lose 68, and they fall to 68 and 63 on the year. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. Make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. BZ's in the chat. Sox and shit saying the White Sox need to start seriously considering the use of an opener. Urquidy not great today without an opener. It was good last time with an opener out of the gate. I think that when you have this lackluster of pitching, it's a good idea to go with an opener. I think it was Fetty who mentioned it. It could have been Martin. Could have been Burke. I think it was actually Burke. Burke mentioned that you're getting the opportunity to face the worst part of the lineup more often. It is just an easier bite to digest if you are a starter. So if you are able to get somebody in that first inning, being able to get through 1 through 3, and then you're starting, 4 through 9, that's a lot easier of a way to start off the game. And then that way too, you only have to face the top of the lineup, the 1, 2, 3 hitters twice, and then you could face everyone else 3 times. So I'm not against the idea of an opener, especially with like a guy like Drew Thorpe. If he's supposed to be called up in September, I don't think it's a bad idea. Urquidy, Fetty, Martin possibly as well, Thorpe. I think all those guys could be needing of an opener. Not sure if Castillo's a guy that would be so pumped about an opener. Burke, I don't think really needs one. It seems like he's come away from those issues. I know the last 2 starts haven't been great, but he's built up a decent amount of will in the last 12 starts for him. But yeah, when it's not pretty much Burke, K, and Castillo, I would like the White Sox to use an opener. Not a bad thought there by Sox Insane, because this just Urquidy thing, it was cute against the Cubs. He got off to a great start and struck out like 8 of the first 9 batters, but 3 innings pitched today, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, 4 walks, 2 Ks, 93 pitches for Urquidy, 16 called strikes. So he was loading up the zone. Corey Seager would like to thank him for that because he hit the hell out of him. But 4 whiffs against Urquidy today. Not great. 22% called strike plus whiff percentage, so below the major league average of 30%. 13 batted ball events for Urquidy, 4 of them hard hits, and an 84% average exit velocity. So not really well-struck balls, but they were well-struck balls. I mean, 13 batted balls, not great. You're walking 4 guys. Whenever a hit was happening, it was with traffic. So he would walk a guy, and then he would kind of have to be forced into the zone to, not walk another guy. So it was just a really bad mix there for Urquidy. And, it's not inspiring in any way. I understand why White Sox fans are frustrated with Chris Getz after this, because, again, you look at the trade deadline, and Castillo was a fine addition, but it didn't seem or scream game 2 starter. You were thinking Burke could be the game 1 starter, Castillo could be the game 3 starter. You could use K, Martin, etc. in game 4 and really go for it with everyone else who is left. But game 2, you really wanted another outside addition, and it's likely now, if you get to the postseason, which seems still highly likely, Castillo's going in game 2, Burke going in game 1, K going in game 3, and then game 4. If you get to a game 4, hopefully you do, maybe you're throwing Taylor and Newcomb out of the gate, followed by Hagen, and you're just seeing who else can get you the rest of the 4. It's not a pretty sight right now, at least pitching-wise, but it's August 24th. You're going to get another pitching spot once the rosters expand in September. So you're going to get a little bit of relief soon. They're going to stop this crazy stretch of back-to-back games and finally get a day off on the 28th. And reminder, they're still 5 games above 500. And I don't think that, DeGrom is the death knell that he was in 2019 and 2020 and 2018. They seem to be pretty confident against DeGrom last time. So maybe Rocker's a different or tougher outing for these guys. I feel like they could probably get to DeGrom. I didn't think much of this Ranger lineup, and especially going up against a lefty and K. Hopefully he'll be able to give you 5 innings, so it wouldn't be shocking if they win tomorrow. And then Wednesday you have Sean Burke going. Hopefully they can win that game. Now, Texas does have a lefty going on the mound, and the Sox aren't great against lefties, so you have a little bit of concern there. But if you're able to win 1 game, even in this series, like you're totally fine, and there is no reason to panic. So it's mostly a specific player that I think has most of the ire of the Sox fan base, but this is a team that is going to take its lumps. They've mostly given their lumps this year. A young team that has had like 15 debuts is not going to look like world beaters night in, night out. And I'm sorry that they don't, but if you were expecting the playoffs before this year, I thought you were crazy. We can go back and play the Shady Rays sponsored spring training video that we shot, and there's like several people that told me the White Sox were going to the playoffs. And I thought my fellow White Sox fans were loony, like needed to be admitted. I didn't think it made any sense. Thought this team would win 72 games. So right now, when we see some struggles, when we see some flare-ups, when they didn't really add any effing pitching, it's not so surprising. I mean, I brought up the quote from Brian Bannister. I think he said on the former Mully and Haw show, now the Haw and Peyton show, he mentioned at some point in April that they really didn't sign veteran guys because they wanted the young guys to pitch. Well, Noah Schultz hasn't really lived up to it. He's hit a career inning high mark. Doesn't feel like he's a guy that you could rely on. Hagen Smith is a guy you're relying on, but not in the rotation. Tanner McDougal was unused by the manager, thrown in there, and then immediately sent out after 28 pitches in his major league career. So the starting pitchers, the young starting pitchers that you were looking to rely on, haven't really stepped up outside of Sean Burke. Even Shane Smith, injured and hasn't really been able to contribute. Drew Thorpe hasn't made his way back since Tommy John. Not really a negative on him. He's done well in AAA. I'd be fine to see him at the major league level at this point. But you haven't gotten that young contribution. They went with Hedrickson Paez, and he was DFA'd within the first month. They didn't get that project to develop like they did Shane Smith. So, it was a really disappointing moment when the Sox looked at that weak spot, one that they knew existed in April, and chose to do nothing about it. They didn't upgrade this rotation enough. They were looking for Hagen Smith to be in the rotation. They're looking for Tanner McDougal to possibly be in the rotation. They were looking for Noah Schultz to possibly be in the rotation. You needed to trade for somebody. And that was clearly obvious on August 3rd. And that's why I was frustrated in this seat when you go out and get rid of a fine player in Everson Pereira to go chase a guy in Brenton Doyle who drops the center field fly ball on Friday and screws up Sean Burke's ERA on Sean Day. Come on. You could have taken Mason Adams, who's making his major league debut tomorrow for the Colorado Rockies, and tried to make some appealing package for a pitcher. And it didn't have to be Evan Gosman or whoever. It could have been someone just like Foster Griffin. It just needed to be somebody better than Jose Urquidy. And whether Foster Griffin is or isn't that good of a starter, he is at least better than Jose Urquidy. So it's just frustrating that, you have a clear weak spot and the Sox didn't do a better job of sharpening it up. Okay. Thank you for Sox Insane. I should have BZ on the show soon. He's up. Okay. BZ, look in your DMs soon. Hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already. Make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. We'll be back with your reactions to the comments. We'll get to Colson Montgomery chatter as well. I have some graphics. And this isn't the end of the world. I know it's frustrating to lose 11-2, but 68-63 isn't a bad spot to sit if you are the Chicago White Sox. And we'll also talk about the Sox record against good teams versus bad teams. They lose to another team that's above 500 today. We'll talk to you soon. What if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And what if you could keep that reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi locked in at the same price for 5 years? That's Xfinity's 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together, that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like a super intelligent Wi-Fi that has its own sixth sense, that lets you stream the game even when the whole family's online. All of your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And here's the best part. There are no annual contracts. There are no hidden fees. And Xfinity's best equipment is included. Take it from me, a lot can change over 5 years. You could set the loss record in 2024, and then you could be going to the playoffs in 2026. What does 2028 hold for us? Well, we don't have to worry about that with our Wi-Fi. Your Wi-Fi, it should stay reliable, and the price should stay put. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Select plans only. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Old National Bank. Whether it's on the field or in your financial life, the best teams win by delivering excellence at every level. At Old National Bank, we believe every play matters. I do want to mention that Old National Bank's I-90-94 billboard, I think 2 days ago, said there's no official holiday in August. There's Sean Day. But from everyday checking to long-term planning and commercial banking, our team is here to build momentum and help you move the ball forward. It all starts with a plan tailored for you by professionals you trust. From simple tasks to bigger financial moments, you can count on us to coordinate your needs with steady, knowledgeable guidance that brings clarity and confidence to each step. It's a partnership designed to help you feel supported, not just today, but well into the future. So whether you're celebrating after a win, rebuilding after a tough loss, or gearing up for whatever comes next, we've got your back with tools, insights, and an expert crew that's always in your corner. Old National Bank member FDIC, where relationships and results matter. Welcome back to the CHGO White Sox post-game show. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. I think we had over 40 people watching and only 6 likes. So, I mean, we have over 50 people liking and 6 likes. I mean, there's people saying, nice jacket. I appreciate it. A gift from my dad. It was cold enough finally to wear it. But, hit that thumbs up button. We really appreciate it here at CHGO Sports. Okay, we are going to go to your comments here. Sox Insane, before we left, mentioned this was supposed to be a development year. The games weren't supposed to matter, and now they have to balance development and winning games. You're absolutely right. And again, that's where I thought that Chris Getz could have done more to help his team. There were a decent amount of pieces from James Fegan about this team's kind of excitement at the trade deadline and that they felt like, they needed some reinforcements, but that anyone that came in here, they would be able to welcomed so well, and they'd be able to embrace the clubhouse because they have such a great clubhouse. And I mentioned, after Getz didn't do that much, it kind of leans into, when Brooke Fletcher's saying this team doesn't know what they don't know, the harsh realities of Major League Baseball seem to be setting in at some point. Colson Montgomery's slyishly smiling to himself after all these strikeouts. And I wonder if there's part of himself that's like, hey, they've kept Chalowski, Bonnemer, and Carlson. I'm playing like ass right now. Well, I don't think it's a swear. There's like the 7 dirty curse words, and I don't think ASSS is one of them. If not, I'll get fined. I could pay it. Come on. I'm Mr. Moneybags here. Anyways, hopefully, please don't find me. I just it doesn't feel like Getz helped this team get to the finish line, and I still do think that they're going to finish in first. I do still think that they're going to make the playoffs, and for this year, that is a win. But I'm not sure if it's going to lead to really what we want to see in August or come October. Not used to it. Come October, people were really disappointed in 2020. They got beat by an okay A's team. They had enough pitching. They possibly could have advanced further. Kind of similar story to what I think will happen this year. And then, against the Astros, they had the Leary legend moment. But, the Astros were just a better team. And the Astros dominated them over that series. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's what ends up coming true. All right. If you want to go to, and right, Southside Jeff, I'm just talking about the All Sports Scene podcast, not a dirty word, right? I'm not talking about the backside. Evan G with some insightful comments. Cubs own you. Oh, got us. Oh, series is tied. Oh, darn. Oh, we're in a trash division. Oh, too bad we're in first place and you're not. Feel free to ban Evan because even if he's a CHGO Cubs fan, we could just take away his happiness because you didn't have to come here, Evan. Did you ban him? You did? Confirmed? See, Evan. There you go. All right. If you want to go back to the favorites, thank you, Chloe. You're really double duty here. Walter in the chat, Getz failed us at the deadline. We aren't going anywhere with this pitching. And I hear you. I failed is a big word because I don't know if he failed fans because Evan in the chat, our Diehard Discord, and we'll get to the Diehard program in a moment. But I don't know if he failed you because this was supposed to be a development year. They haven't lost any of the top prospects that they had in their, kind of iffy prospect system. Worst loss was Everson Pereira or Mason Adams, however you look at it. And Mason Adams wasn't that, big of a loss. So I'm not necessarily saying he failed them, but it does feel like a letdown. Maybe that's a bit nicer. Failed seems a little bit harsh. Ano saying Ozzie and Chuck were discussing the high strikeout rate with the Sox, particularly with Colson, Mune, and Mydroth, but as a team as a whole. Chase is one that I'm going to have a really tough time criticizing just because he seems to be in a rut lately. We were also just singing his praises about a week ago. So I'm not like here on, ready to mob against Mydroth. Mune too, it's just kind of part of the game. I think we expected some of this at some point with Munetaka Murakami. It seems like he does have that top level of being a top 10 hitter in Major League Baseball. He also has a clear spot where he strikes out. So right now, I think it's been a little bit exasperated. I wonder if the 162 is getting to him. I highly doubt that, but I'm just more theorizing. And then also, and I know he had the injury as well, but it's just, I think of a lull here. You're having a ton of games on top of each other. They're trying to get breaks for these guys. So I don't know. 143 games was his most played in Japan. I'm not sure what the entirety of the season is, but 143, 143, 143, 141, 140, 120. And then I think they also count their playoffs in a different section as well. So, I think he's probably played 160 plus games in an actual season before, if you count postseason. But I do think, these young guys are kind of getting used to a 162 season in front of your faces, and it's not always pretty. So I think, you have to take the good with the bad. Overall, the White Sox do a pretty good job, at least at the plate scoring runs. Ano also mentioning the high strikeout rate. It's really a do or die team when it comes to the offense. And I'm not saying that they need the homer to survive. But when Rick Hahn's saying, ball go far, team go far, they didn't have any way to actually make the ball go far. Ryan Fuller and Derek Showman are at least able to explain their offensive processes. There was a great interview with James Fegan and Ryan Fuller before James left Sox Machine for Chicago Sun-Times and to be the Sun-Times beat writer, and congrats to James on that. But really what the White Sox are looking to do is damage. So yes, damage means a home run, but damage also means lacing a single or, rather having a 105 mile per hour line out to the left fielder because, hey, at least it's in the gap and that guy had to make that play rather than, a pop-up or a ground out. And I know that has been an issue for certain guys like Colson Montgomery. Colson Montgomery pops up a ton of baseballs, struck out 3 times today, and the other one he didn't strike out. He popped one out to like the catcher, pretty much the White Sox dugout, and the catcher and the third baseman on that side. So it is live by the sword, die by the sword. The Sox aren't 9 Luis Arraezes taped together. Even Tristan Peters, a guy that has been a high contact guy, now is 3 straight games with a homer. Like, he's going up there looking to damage the ball. It's happened to be 3 home runs, but you can kind of see that he's on the right track because he's getting the right swings off, where he was completely lost post All-Star break. I don't know if that's coming around the bend for Colson. We'll talk about that after the break, but it is to a point where, the strikeouts are frustrating. I don't know what else to tell you. That's just kind of part of the team. When you are a baseball team, you're going to have positives, you're going to have weaknesses. Positives, the White Sox do a ton of damage. Negatives, they strike out a ton. Positive, the White Sox are great in high leverage. The White Sox never give up. The White Sox have the TWTW. Negative, they have no effing pitching. So, I don't know. Is this a World Series team? I haven't thought so. I don't think they're going to win the World Series, but again, in the grand scheme, the 500 or 50,000 foot view, I hated watching baseball in 2023 and 2024. Here, this is the big takeaway presented by Xfinity. Keeping you on your toes there, Chloe. Our friends over at Xfinity want you to imagine that. This is the big takeaway presented by Xfinity. Imagine that. I hated watching baseball in 2023 and 2024. And even in the start of 2025, I hated watching baseball. My team made it truly sickening to watch those 9 guys trout out on the field and just play the most pathetic brand of baseball out there. And after the All-Star break last year, you started to see a team that was responding, a team that had a little bit of bite, and we are still seeing that team. And over 131 games, this team is still in first place. This team still has the ability to go out there and win any night. It sucks losing 11-2. Losing is bad. Winning is good. Wow. What a revelation. But you have to look at the process. And the process has led the White Sox to leading the American League in runs scored. Are there issues with Colson Montgomery? Sure. Are there issues with Munetaka Murakami? That's why he's a White Sox. That's why people didn't want to sign him. When you look at the zone contact rate in Major League Baseball, there's a huge gap between the bottom of the list and Munetaka Murakami. Munetaka Murakami does not make that much zone contact. Thankfully, when he does, he hits it 1,500 feet. There are going to be positive and negatives in this entire lineup. And when Antonacci's not going well, and Maidrot's not going well, and Colson's not going well, and Mooney's not going well, you're going to score 2 runs. Hopefully they're able to snap out of it. Hopefully they're able to get a little bit better. But even if they lose and are swept by the Rangers, it's not the end of the world. So I think the big takeaway is the White Sox finally have a process. And although it didn't show tonight in game 131, in the other 130, they're 6 games over 500. Sorry, I couldn't do 68 minus 62. Thankfully, I pulled it out of there. And our guy, Tite Boy, saying, thank you, Pedro Grifol. Yeah, awful. We are in a completely different era than what we used to be. That is the big takeaway presented by Xfinity. Xfinity, imagine that. Mexaban 26. Hell yeah. What a name. These losses are a pain, but the Sox were not supposed to be good. We want more wins because they gave us a lot of wins. They are not great. Losses like this will happen. This will get us better. Amen. This is a bump in the road. If this was just straight up from here for 162, you'd be complaining about a winning team. And I'm not saying you, Mexaban, but this is going to be a rocky road. And the biggest thing that I think is a credit to this team is they haven't let it build up on them. I think their last 10, they're now 5-5. Their last 15, I think they're 14-16. And their last 30, their last 15, they're, what would that be? Oh boy. Is that Brother Rice math for you? 7-8. And then I think their last 30, they're 14-16, right? So they're like playing around 500 ball. It's not above 500, but like this team hasn't gotten too much in a hole where, there haven't been lost over 4 straight games, and they only have 1 losing streak of 4 straight games. The Cubs' sky was falling when they lost 10 games earlier this year. They lost 10 games in a row. Like the Sox haven't faced that type of a deficit. It does feel like tomorrow is a new day. So let's see how they show out tomorrow. I honestly think they'll do pretty decently against DeGrom. And then I honestly like Kay, the lefty, against the Rangers. So we'll see Hagen likely tomorrow. Can they get 8 innings from lefties and just kind of shut down this Rangers lineup? Like, knock on wood, that'd be great to see. All right, and then if you want to go back, we have one more time to get we'll take Today Boy's other question in the chat in a second. We're going to take a break here on the CHGO White Sox postgame show. We got to talk about Colson Montgomery. We got to talk about the White Sox in August when letting teams score in the first and not letting teams score in the first. We'll talk about Caleb Bonnemer as well here on the CHGO White Sox postgame show. We want to let you know about our friends over at Shady Rays. You know that moment, the one where you left your sunglasses at the beach or on the roof of your car or at a gas station 3 states away. I've been there too. Was at the park with my wife, left them in a field, went and threw off the mound. When do you see a mound nowadays? Never. Parks are never maintained, but I got to throw off a mound. Felt like a kid again. Oh, it was great. But then I realized I left my sunglasses in the field and I didn't want to go back. But the wild part is about our friends over at Shady Rays. Not only do they make seriously good looking, polarized, durable, and not stupidly expensive sunglasses, they are the eyewear that has your back. If you lose or break your Shady Rays, even on day 1, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair with no guilt trip, just replacements. So now you can wear your sunglasses without fear on hikes, at concerts, on the boat, wherever, even if you're pitching off a mound and you step on them and break them, because Shady Rays is the eyewear that has your back. Go to shadyrays.com and use code CHGO50 for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. That's shadyrays.com and code CHGO50 for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized shades. And we want to let you know about our new friends over at Matrix Basement. Welcome to the show, Matrix Basement. Come on, first ad read. If you're ready to turn your basement into the ultimate family hangout, Matrix Basement makes it simple with a free design consultation just for you. The team at Matrix Basements listens to what you want and brings fresh, creative ideas, whether it's a home gym, playroom, or cozy spot to relax. And starting your basement project with Matrix Basements means an easy, fun process from start to finish. If you've got an unfinished basement, you're sitting on a whole other floor of your house that you're not even using. Talk about the resale value. I mean, come on, that's a whole finished square footage right there that's just untouched. Matrix Basements can change that. And right now you can finish your basement now and not pay until 2029. So why wait? Start enjoying that space now. Head to matrixbasement.com and book your free consultation with Matrix Basement today. Let's make your dream basement happen with Matrix Basement. Check out Matrix Basement at matrixbasement.com. Built for you. Welcome back to CHGO White Sox postgame show. I'm seeing this real quick, top of the 9th. I was out on the deck listening to the radio broadcast, so I didn't actually see this. Southpaw was at the speed pitch, chucked it up to 79 in uniform, and my favorite part, obviously, it's a part of the name, but I don't know if they're looking for this specifically when hiring a mascot, but he's throwing lefty. So, like, Southpaw throwing lefty, and he's like, I'm just saying he because I think Southpaw canonically is a man. If he's gender neutral, my bad. But yeah, I do think that Southpaw is it's very impressive that this guy's just really throwing like 79 gas in the speed pitch. Shout out to Southpaw. Okay. And that's at least what we're talking about when the White Sox lose 11-2. Okay. Some good comments as well. Ano saying, yeah, I agree. I'm grateful for this team and everyone contributing their part. A lot of frustrating growing pains, but it's been fun. And yeah, that's it's part of the times of 162. It's not always going to be pretty. Tite Boy 5433 saying, would you rather trade Bonnemer or Colson for a pitcher in the offseason? Seattle, maybe. I think part of the thing with trading Colson is a lot of teams are going to look at you sideways. Why would you move on from a player that you drafted in the first round? Why would you be moving away from a player that could help you contribute or could help contribute to your team. Like, I don't know if you're going to get that much value from Colson at this current point. Let's flash at least the Colson bad stats right now. He's on pace to break the White Sox single season strikeout record. He is currently at 178 after striking out 3 times today. It's getting to Mark Reynolds and Adam Dunn territory. The Colson SL one. The one right above the background. So he's now at 178. He's 4th all-time passing Adam Dunn in 2011. Adam Dunn is 3rd at 189 in 2013. Moncada is 2 all-time in 2017. And then 1st all-time is Adam Dunn with 222 in 2012. And it does seem like Colson Montgomery at his 33% rate, if he's playing all of these games, going to have a pretty good shot at, striking out over 230 times. So credit to Colson for playing in 150 games, but also, hey, man, you're probably going to have a record that you're not going to be super happy about come, the end of the year. So I don't know if Colson's going to rake in exactly what you want when it comes to traits. So I think Bonham, now that he's going to be playing center field, shout out John Fogerty and that terrible, terrible song that my wife just figured out, and I had to listen to that song recently. One that I tried to avoid, but Josh Barfield on Caleb Bonham getting reps in center field. We brought it up to him last week, and he was super open about it. By no means is he no longer an infielder. We see this as adding another tool in his bag, and he's super athletic. He's capable of doing it. I think it's a smart move, something we heard from the Futures Game, both from Melissa Sage Bolenbach, who joined us on the show, and then from Jeff Ponce from Baseball America. He's very fast. He clocked in at about like a 4.2 in his split from first to home. Very, very fast number. It doesn't seem impossible that he might have some range to play the outfield, and I think the biggest question right now with Bonham is, where does he play defensively? Because if you want to look at the north side, Ballesteros, he got off to a hot start in his major league career, at the plate, but didn't really have any position to play him. And Bonham, while drafted as a shortstop, you usually try to take those players because they're the most athletic. Bonham is athletic, but he's not a shortstop, and didn't really grade out as that as an infielder. Kind of a little bit too big for second base. Third base, I don't think he had the arm for it. So I think that's possibly why he's not going to a corner, is they're trying to bank on this speed, and maybe, just maybe, he can be a center fielder because the hit tool is there. The power is there for Caleb Bonham. It's just, where do you actually play this player? And maybe it is DH, but that player loses value. And whether that's for your actual team or for a trade, I think this is why you're seeing Caleb Bonham in that spotlight, because he is likely the best player to trade. Billy Carlson, not only right now is his value pretty low, it seems like he's going to be an 80 grade shortstop. And if he does hit at any point, he has top 10 prospect in baseball potential. Similar with Chalowski, he's a shortstop. So there's no really moving off of him, or moving him off the position. And likely, if Chalowski, although he was shut down with a wrist injury for this season, not the end of the world, maybe he even plays at AFL. It's a position that, you kind of have solved. So Bonham going to have to move. So I don't know. It feels like Bonham has a chance of getting traded. But I mean, with Colson, like, who would want him in a way? He's a bit of a head case. You see him striking out up there, and he just seems lost and confounded with himself. He's swinging at 3 straight sliders that are well outside the zone, and you wonder, after you missed the first one, like, what are you doing? I know some people were having issues. I think he struck out, or it was either Benintendi and Murakami that both struck out at like fastballs down the middle against Nolan McLean, and it was sinkers that kind of tailed in. But he is in his head where he's not swinging at strikes and he's completely swinging at balls. And it's completely frustrating. But at least in 2026, who else are you going to play at shortstop? Luis Angel Acuna might be able to spell him a bit against lefties, although that's Colson's strong side. He's kind of better against lefties than righties this year. I don't know if it's that good of an option. Bonham can't play the infield. So, I mean, they're already moving him to center field. They're not going to put him at shortstop in the major leagues. Chalowski's got shut down for this year, so it's not like you're going to be able to put him there. Some people want to finagle Antonacci out of left field, maybe put him at second, and you could have Chase at shortstop. But, do you want Randall Grichuk facing righties? He is really only a lefty guy right now. You're not going to put Benintendi out in left field. He hasn't played since April. So they're kind of hamstrung with what they can actually do with this lineup. It sucks seeing Colson like this. It's brutal, and I don't know if there's going to be a coming out of this. We've seen in April and May, very positive player, 130 weighted runs created plus. Since May, hasn't been that. So I think part of it is swing and miss. We can go to some of these other graphics. And part of it is he's trying to pull too much, and he's getting kind of just beat up on the outside edge. So if you want to go to image 206 first, we love image 206. This is the beginning of the year for Colson. So this is April and May. And you can see up and in, it's a whiff percentage 16.7. And you can see middle, it's a whiff percentage of 11.6. And you see in the next photo, if you want to go to 205, up and in 14.3, so a bit of an increase there. And even middle, it's been less, but he's swinging less at that pitch. So it is swinging and missing at middle for Colson Montgomery less, but it's also him being more hesitant. He's really getting beat up down and in. You see a 58.3% swing and miss rate right there. And that's typically a huge power point for lefties in general. I mean, that was where Benintendi was really dominating in like 2024 and 2025 when he was pointless. Couldn't hit anything else, but he could hit down and in. That's been a really brutal spot for Colson this year. And then if you want to go to Colson batting, this is the right one. So he has a ton of hits, or at least homers, that are on pitches in the middle of the zone. But what I have at least seen is, especially outer edges, both up and in and outer away, he's not able to take that outer away pitch to left center. He doesn't really have an interest in doing that. His swing is his swing, and that's part of the positives and negatives of the White Sox current swing approach. Is your swing is your swing. You're supposed to take healthy hacks in every single opportunity you have. And with Colson, I think that's a little bit of a drawback. They were fine with Andrew Vaughn going to left center field with his power, even when he didn't have that, where, Colson should probably be allowed to explore that a little bit. If he's late, it's not the end of the world, because it could be muscled out by his 77 plus mile per hour bat speed to left center or even left field. So I would like to see Colson just be a little bit later against righties, if that's the best way to put it. And, James Fegan has theorized that it's partially due to the torpedo bat and partial for him staying really compact. He's got long levers, and for him not to get beat up on inside pitches, he's kind of got to sacrifice the outside edge, and he's really getting beat up on the outside edge versus righties. So I don't know if a mid-season swing change can happen. I'm not saying it's a guy that I'm completely out on. I think it's a guy that can be fixed and has been fixed before, but people are right that there needs to be fixing. However, you just don't have that luxury. There's 31 games left in this season, and he is your best option at shortstop. So it's difficult to say, bench Colson Montgomery or, take him out of the lineup. I think it's honestly kind of our duty as fans to give this guy credit. People hated Luis Robert Jr. People hated Eloy Jimenez for how many times they effing struck out. But how many times you've seen Colson Montgomery get hurt running to first base, right? How many times have you seen him, kind of take a play off at shortstop? Has he made errors? Sure. But overall, he's been positive defensively. And it also depends on who you ask, whether defensive runs scored. He's a -5 there, but outs above average. And then I believe it's field to run value. He's like a 6 and a 5. So defensive metrics aren't perfect for shortstops. I think largely he puts out really good effort, at least defensively. And at the plate, I think he's just in his head right now, and I'm not sure he has the answer. And I know it's frustrating to fans to see, but I don't really know what the counter is for Colson outside of him just making some tweaks up at the plate. All right, we're going to take a break here on the CHGO White Sox postgame show. He is still using a torpedo bat. I don't think that there has been a change to that because, again, the issue is he can't really do anything with pitches on the outside part of the plate. He's trying to get that barrel on inside pitches. So that's why the torpedo bat is helpful. He is able to extend his arm a bit against lefties. So that's why he's able to make more average or hit for more average against them. Maybe not as much more pop, but he's able to extend his hands a little bit and kind of take any breaking balls on the outer edge that lefties throw and hit him into left field for a single. So it's maybe something that he needs to adjust for handedness. I believe Sam Antonacci does this against righties. He doesn't use a torpedo bat. Now against lefties, he does use a torpedo bat. So I think it's possible that there could be some changes there for Colson. But I think if you're going to keep your swing as your swing, those are the changes that you could make using a different bat versus handedness. But I'm not sure if that's something that they are looking to explore. So we're going to take a break here on the CHGO White Sox postgame show. Southside Jeff saying, hit that like button. Hit that like button. Come on, people. 80 watchers? Do you not know where the like button is, folks? Come on. We'll be right back. One thing I love about summer is how easy everything feels. The days are a little bit more relaxed, and I find myself reaching for the same comfortable go-anywhere pieces again and again. That's why I keep coming back to Quince. They sent me some beautiful shirts and shorts. I have a lovely European linen 100% cotton button-up shirt that I wear on dates, and it looks so nice. It's black. Black looks good on me, and I just look sharp on a date. I don't look like a schlub anymore. And then at night, I got these super soft bamboo shorts that are so breathable and so comfortable to sleep in. Quince focuses on well-made essentials that naturally become those everyday staples you actually live in all season. I have already, and I encourage you to head over to our friends over at Quince.com. Make sure your summer wardrobe is easier. Go to Quince.com/socks for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. And now they're available in Canada too. Shout out Tristan Peters. That's QUINCE.com/socks, SOX, for free shipping and 365-day returns. That's Quince.com/socks. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Splash Sports. Football is almost back, and you could win big money with Splash Sports and ALLCITY's $500,000 Survivor contest. That is a $500,000 payout. We all know how Survivor contests work. You pick up a straight-up winner each week, and you can't use the same team twice all throughout the 18 seasons, and you have to survive. It's the name of the game. Make the right picks throughout the season to avoid being eliminated, and try your best to win the guaranteed payout of $500,000. Let me say that again, a guaranteed payout of $500,000. Sign up so you're ready for week 1 at allchgo.com/survivor. I am joining and cannot wait to get eliminated in week 1, because that's what happened to me last year. $500,000 up for grabs. So enter today at allchgo.com/survivor. That's allchgo.com/survivor. Sponsored by Splash Sports. Paid partnership. Skill-based contest. Not sports betting. Open to U.S. residents. 18 plus. Void where prohibited. Entry fee $25. Rules at splashsports.allcity. No, splashsports.com/allcity. At splashsports.com/allcity. Welcome back to the CHGO White Sox postgame show. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already, and make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel for those who want to know. Herb will be here on Wednesday and Sunday this week, so you'll have me tomorrow solo, and then you'll have me and Herb and I on Wednesday and Sunday. We also are excited today, and let's talk about this, our Diehard program, and then we'll get to your comments. Some people are saying the Guardians are coming for the division. Austin, I'm not sure if you're a coworker. I see the DNVR banner on the table. If you are a coworker, I said this with love, you're so wrong. And if you're not a coworker, you're still wrong. So no, they're not. I don't know what to tell you besides no, they're not. But thanks. All right. So what were we doing? I got distracted. Oh, Diehard level. Thank you. We are all CHGO and ALLCITY are taking Diehard to a new level. We are introducing tiers for every type of fan. So if you are looking to become a Diehard, there are new ways to become a Diehard, and you could join us in the Discord. You can read all the written work at all CHGO. And if you're into tailgates, especially for the Bear season, there are ways for you to get in. Level 1 is for those who want more coverage and community. You'll get premium written content and access to the Diehard Lounge hosted on Discord and more. That is at $3 a month. That is $36 a year. Pro is an $80 a year package. That's where you get all the perks. You get a free t-shirt every year, the NFL Draft Guide, plus discounts and more than $200 in partner perks. And premium is $119 a year and includes everything in Pro, plus 2 All-City tailgate tickets every year, and that's only for DNVR and CHGO. So we are just getting started as well. There are some fun perks that have not been announced yet in Pro, but we have seen the beta of what will be released, and that is very exciting. They're making me upload the podcast to the websites now because there's a reason for it, but that should be rolled out soon. So if you do want to get in, head over to allchgo.com and check out the Diehard levels over there. There are new levels for you. So if you want to just join in at the $3 a month tier, we'd love to have you. If you want to be the pro at $80 and get a shirt every single year, that'd be great. We have, if you hear any noise, it's just me and the boys stroking, right? So if you're looking for a stroking shirt, you can give a shout out to Dave Parker, and we'll be great. And, rock the stroking shirt. But yeah, hey, if you're looking to upgrade your fandom, head over to allchgo.com and check out the Diehard membership. So the thing about the Guardians, we could talk about this. So the Guardians are up 4-1 against the Angels. Whatever. Let them win as many games as they want. The Guardians have been largely pretty pathetic, and even though the White Sox are not a team that can be talking, the White Sox against teams above 500 are 18-29 now after today. Below 500, they are 50 and 34. So they're beating up on bad teams, but that's also what the Guardians are doing right now. The Guardians have beat up on the Giants. They have beat up on the Rockies and swept the Rockies, and they're currently beating up on an Angels team. What happens when they play Kansas City, who's been a little bit hot as of late? What happens when they play Toronto? What happens when they play Detroit? I don't think they're that much better than Detroit. What happens when they play Minnesota? What happens when they play Chicago? What happens when they play Boston? I don't think Detroit or Cleveland has a shot right now to catch the White Sox. And when you look at FanGraphs season-to-date records, even with the White Sox losing, even if the Guardians win, the White Sox will still have it over a 70% chance to win the division. It's 74.7% right now. That's with the Guardians being 3 games back at 65 and 66. So if they win today, that will obviously change. But the Guardians have a 16% chance to win the division. I mean, a lot of that would happen or need to happen against the White Sox. To make up that ground, you're going to have to take out the White Sox. I've seen several games against the Guardians. I don't think they're that good. And I understand the White Sox had a bad game today, but I really don't think that the Guardians are going to be catching the White Sox. I just feel pretty confident that the Sox have first place in their hands. It's up to them not to lose it. I don't even know if necessarily is like a sign of something to come. They have 31 games, and they need their subpar pitching to beat subpar offenses. The White Sox are 23-13 against the American League Central. If that continues, and even if it shrinks to like probably 7 games above 500 against the American League Central, they are still winning the division. It's as simple as that. In the next 31 games, they need to beat the division. And if they do that, they can lose 11-2 to the Rangers, and it won't matter at all. And the Dave's mentioning the Guardians are coming for 500. Okay, well then they need to also get 4 games above 500 to even match up with the Sox. I'm not super concerned right now. It's the swells of the sea. All boats rise, all boats fall. I don't think the White Sox have that necessarily tough stretch of September baseball. I'm pretty confident that the White Sox will be fine, taking care of what they need to take care of in September. They have, 3 games against Minnesota on the 28th, 29th, and 30th. As long as they win those games, there will be nothing to worry about. They have 4 games against Houston, which could be ugly. Sure. Then they play Minnesota again, a team that I think they're capable of beating. Pittsburgh, who's below 500. They don't have the pitching that they did at the start of the season. Their hitting's also suffered a ton of attrition. St. Louis isn't that good. And then, again, you have games against Cleveland, Detroit, and Kansas City. Win them. That's it. Most of these games in September, 3 against Minnesota, 3 against Minnesota, 3 against Cleveland, 4 against Detroit, 3 against Kansas City. Win them. It's that simple. Hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already. Make sure you subscribe to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. And yeah, Southside Jeff mentioning the Sox end with the Rockies. I mean, if you are counting that as a sweep, which you don't have to necessarily do, the White Sox aren't that great of a team where they're going in and sweeping teams even when they are better than teams necessarily. That really hasn't been their MO this year. But, I mean, that's a team that they could sweep. So I don't know. It's just not a current thing that I'm panicked about. This game sucked, sure, but whatever. Val said, why can't we have the Rockies and Angels back-to-back? But they had the Angels and A's back-to-back. And they won those. They won the Angels series, I think, or maybe they went 1-2 against them. And then they won the Athletic series. So, I mean, they had some breaks there or some opportunities. But even with that, like, they're not even traveling. They go to Houston and they don't cross the Mississippi, I don't think. Is Minnesota west of the Mississippi? I think so. So, man, I think after the Houston series, though, because it's still the Minnesota series happens before, they don't go past west of the Mississippi. I could take a bus to all these damn games. Like, I feel like the end of the season is where they'll turn things on, and that could start tomorrow. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. If Colson Montgomery survives tomorrow, I think he'll be in the lineup. So knock on wood, Colson Montgomery wakes up and drives in some runs. So we're not frustrated with him and putting out warrants for his arrest, But anyways, that's going to do it for the CHGO White Sox postgame show. Hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Is there anything else that we missed graphic-wise? I guess I didn't go to the homer thing, but that was pretty much, Colson doesn't take outside pitches deep. And that's the one thing that kind of frustrates me is against righties, fastballs out and away, learn to extend your hands and try to put a really fast swing on that. But outside of that, whatever. All right. Thank you to Chloe for producing the show. Going an hour here, pretty much. Look at us. Solo us. There's that face that's haunting you, folks. We're going to see you tomorrow after the Sox take on the Rangers. It's Anthony Kay versus Jacob deGrom. I really do think the Sox have a chance. So hopefully the Sox can win this game, and they'll be back to 5 or 6 games over 500. It's not too worried. Val saying, till tomorrow, Kay's taking us to the win. He's our stopper. I hope you're right, Val. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Goodbye.
We all silly like the mayor.